Alrighty. Welcome to Path Studio, where we talk to people from different paths of life. Whether they're an artist, influencer, entrepreneur, developer, or designer, let's get to know the story of their path. My name is Arturo Montiel, CEO of Path Studio, and I'm joined here today with a good friend of mine, Isaac Cruz from Microsoft. Now, Isaac, for those who don't know you, give us a bit of a background.
Yeah. So I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and now living in Denver. And I am a designer, product designer, working with Microsoft right now. Um, so yeah, I just started this first like full-time contract position in like 3 months ago. So brand new to the industry still. And yeah, let me know if you
That's
want
awesome.
more.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. What was like how'd you even get into product design?
Oh man, it was a long journey. But
Yeah?
get like into it, like interested in it, or like
Yeah, like the whole start, like
yeah. So um like 2 years ago, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what UX design was, which what I found out before I knew what product design was.
mm,
So what happened was that I kind of gave up on like my dreams of becoming like a social media manager or like doing social media marketing, right?
okay.
Um, and and I was working for FedEx delivery position, and I did that for like 3 years. So while I was doing that, I was thinking of ways to have a career that I wanted, and that was a good fit for me. So I actually took some career assessment tests, personality tests, and that's actually how I found out about UX design.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. It was an interesting little test that didn't bring up UX design. It bring up industrial design and
Mm,
also all these other things that showed me this is what kind of career you would be the best at, and like ranked from best to least. And like one of the top ones I remember was um, a musician, and another one was a street artist or street performer. I was like, what? How's that? And they also had like how much they get paid a year, right? And how much
right.
like how much you'll make. So street performer, they made like 70,000 a year, I guess. I
Mm,
don't know whether they're performing or what they're doing, but I guess that's a good gig.
yeah.
Yeah. But I figured, like being an artist or something like that was like not the most sustainable
Mm,
thing to do for the rest of your life. So I'm like, I'll look at industrial design. So I looked more into that, and I figured that you need to go to 4 years of college to do that, and I didn't go to any college. I dropped out of community college a while ago. So uh,
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I found out you just need to take a boot camp and yeah, get after it, and yeah, found UX design after that.
Wow. Wow, man. So wait, why'd you did you like drop out of college or was it just like you took a class, you didn't like it, and then you're just like, I'm gonna withdraw completely?
Yeah, this was a while ago. So I was actually going to school to be like a physical therapy assistant,
Mm,
and I was taking like the prerequisites, and I then I got a job as a salesman. Um, Not the sexiest kind of sales, it's door-to-door sales in Arizona. And I
right.
was like, okay, they had like a clear career path. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Uh, and it was like an entrepreneurship kind of training thing where it was kind of like multi-level marketing type stuff,
Okay.
scammy type deal, but it wasn't really like a scam. Like I've seen people get promoted out and all that and own their own offices. So I got excited about that career, and I stuck with that, and I dropped out of school because I was like, I forgot why I dropped out exactly. I wasn't interested in it anymore. I was like, I can make more money as a salesman.
Right.
So yeah, that's actually what moved me from Phoenix to Denver. in the first place, that position.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Wow. You said it was like multi-level marketing. Was it vector marketing?
No, it
Was it
wasn't
vector?
multi-level marketing. Sorry, it was a lot like how they promote people within,
Mm.
but it wasn't like multi-level marketing. Like we were selling like door to door, TV, phone, and internet for CenturyLink.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, you know.
I recently got a, what was it? There was like, I got an email that was like, "Hey, do you want to go into vector marketing?" And I was like, I'm not actually interested. Like, I really just wanted to see like what the interview process was because like I heard it was like a scam. And so I just really wanted to see like how a scam performs or like what they do. And it was very comedic in a way because like they literally send you a Google form as an application. And then they make you sit down for like an hour to look at this pre-recorded video. I'm like, okay, that's kind of official. Literally after sending the application, like 10 minutes later, they're like, "Hey man, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I see a lot in you and you got the job." And I'm like, all right, this is a scam. I told them it's like, hey man, I just wanted to see how a scam works. Like, I really don't want the job. They're like, they just hung up. I was like, all right.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
Oh man.
that's kind of how they recruit people. Because I was kind of helped out in the process of not recruiting people, but just like interviewing people.
Mm,
And anybody can get the job, right? It's like an
yeah.
entry level sales position. So yeah, they'll take anybody. And if they see that you're good at sales, when you're doing the job, then like, all right, this person has some potential. They'll keep
Yeah.
you.
That's so funny that.
Yeah.
Oh man. But like, was it fun though? Was it fun coming from that kind of job? Because you said you went from that job to FedEx, right?
Yeah. Like was that sales job fun?
Yeah.
Uh yeah, it was a amazing experience. Like I would do it again, definitely. Like um you get like people skills, you have to knock on doors literally, like, and you have to talk to strangers and
Mm,
pitch to them, right? In order to close like for us it was like 1 to 5 deals a day, which is sign people onto contracts. um and yeah, you would have to like, nobody would know about you, and there would be cold leads, so you would have to like learn sales skills uh to actually like close them and
wow.
get them to sign 1 to 2 year contracts.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. And does that help you with your current product design job or
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I haven't been in sales in a long time, but I still like remember a lot of the I guess tactics, or like yeah, I guess you would call them tactics, like uh, to kind of influence people when you're
mm,
talking to them, and kind of pitch your ideas, right? Because as a designer, sometimes you have ideas and you need to pitch them to stakeholders or your team, right?
right.
And you need to be able to do it effectively, right? Kind of close them on your ideas, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, and I actually still have like a notebook that I used to write down like in our meetings when I was in that sales agency, and I still like sometimes look at it because it has like a lot of still valid like information in there, like, and tips and stuff.
That's awesome. That's actually
Yeah.
so cool that you're able to connect the two. Because a lot of people that I've talked to when it comes to design, they get so kind of confused as to how design can become a business or a job. Because for so many people, they just think like, oh, it's pretty fonts and colors and shapes, but there's an intention behind it. There's a reason for this design. There's research behind every single design. Have you had that wall with people talking to them about your design work and in your current job or
Like had a wall. What do you mean by that?
like whenever you say like, oh yeah, like I'm a product designer, they're like, oh, like do they say like, oh, it's like pretty colors or whatever not, or do they know more about it?
Yeah, so like, if we're talking to stakeholders or non-designers, they're like, they don't really know the importance of like, they don't know what kind of design we actually do. They think of like graphic design, some people.
Mm,
Um, but my experience working with like startups and like people like like model, like he's like a founder and he's trying to build something brand new.
Yeah.
uh, he doesn't really know what UX design is or product design. He still calls it UI design. um,
Hmm.
so like you got to kind of educate them, so it helps. But yeah, I've seen people have a hard time, like designers, trying to explain, like not really selling the idea of like, hey, this is why research is important, or this is why we should take these steps, and not just listen to what everything they have in mind, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like really important, like as because I was a freelance photographer, but going into design, it's a lot different because I mean it's graphic design one thing, it's on a camera. But then, after getting experience with it and everything, talking to people that, like you said, like our current client, Morrow, um, who's not very into the design world, it's hard for them to understand like why the logo shouldn't be bigger or why there shouldn't be these colors involved or um can you add a little bit of like spice to the design or something? It's just missing a little something. And
Mm-hmm.
distinguishing like your wants and your needs are super important for the client and for the project. How how were you able to learn that with your experience?
Like distinguishing like my own wants and needs, or like figuring out like prioritizing.
Both, because like as a designer, like we always have like our own vision of the design of the project, but the client has a maybe not completely different, but like a variation of it. So how do you distinguish the two in your designs?
Yeah, so um I think this comes into like my like sales experience, and like kind of trying to be like entrepreneurially, that's a word,
We'll
with
count it.
social media thing, right? So what, that the first thing I thought of was like, okay, how are we gonna make money? Like
Mm,
that's like the most important thing. And being from sales and marketing, it's like that's like not your goal for a business is like, how do we bring in money? um Either direct sales or like marketing and direct sales, right?
yeah.
Because that's what a business is always going to need, and it's probably going to be the most important thing. That's how I was taught, that's what I still believe in. So, and I think a design just scales a business. Like if you
Oh
have
yeah.
a product that people like to use, then it's going to keep them there, and it's going to make them want to tell their friends and family, and at word of mouth marketing, which is way more valuable than like direct sales. And
Oh yeah.
so yeah, and then I learned in boot camp, like, okay, you got to be able to balance the needs of the business and the needs of the users. And
Mm,
so yeah, I kind of bring that like business first mindset to design, and I think that.
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So did you learn to put the business first in terms of like design from your boot camp?
Yeah, they did, mention that, and they said it was important because, like, you got a business has to make money, and that's how you
Yeah.
you keep your job.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true. What boot camp did you do? And like how long was it, man?
I went through Career Foundry.
Okay.
So it's a Berlin based company, and it was a year long. So it took me a year when it was actually supposed to be at like 9 or 10 months, because I had that FedEx delivery job, and it was like
Mm,
more than full-time hours. And yeah, it was a hustle, but eventually got it done. There's like two courses. For like, first course is like you get done in 4 months, and it's full-time course. I took the part-time course, which is supposed to get done in like 9 and 10 months,
oh
but
wow.
a year.
That's awesome. Was it hard? Like were there like any times where you're just like I can't do this or like just any hardships like along the journey? Like how was it?
Yeah, man, this has been like one of the hardest journeys I've been on. Like, having that FedEx delivery job, and then like full time, and then having to learn and get your work done and all that through the course. It was tough. Like I didn't have no social life, and like I just went to work. Sometimes in the morning, I woke up like at 5 a.m. in the morning, 4 o'clock, whenever I can, to do some hours of like work and on the Career Foundry stuff. And I go to work and then I come back and do a little bit more work. But I would do that throughout the week. And then on
Mm.
the weekends, I would do that still. Sometimes I would get burnt out, and it would affect like FedEx delivery job. Like I've gotten hurt sometimes because I was burnt out and
Wow.
like on the job. Yeah.
What do you
Uh,
mean? Like, what do you mean like hurt? Like physically hurt? Like,
yeah, like physically, like like twisted an ankle one time because I was so freaking
ah,
tired at work, right? Or like pulled like a or it was like a muscle spasm, but it was because I was burnt out and tired. So
Isaac.
yeah, man. It was tough, man. I was in it. I was in it to like I was committed to it and I wanted to finish as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
Because I knew like once I finish this course and I get a job and all that and I can get
Mm,
other stuff going on, I'll be able to finish, forget this FedEx job and all
right.
that. But yeah, I learned the hard way, right? Like sometimes I push myself a little too hard and get burnt out. And now I know kind of because of that, I know like my limits, like, okay, how far can I push myself? Like where I'm like a happy medium of being productive and working hard just enough to get ahead like faster, but not so much where you're just hating your life and you getting hurt and you're like, oh, that
Wow.
burnt out, right? So it was a valuable lesson that whole journey,
That's
you know.
awesome. How are wow. How did you how did you figure it out? Like how did you figure out how to balance um being like efficiently productive, but not to the point where you're killing yourself at the same time?
Just I think just learning or just learning the hard way, like like I did. Yeah, yeah, it was um, yeah, it was a tough journey, but I would definitely do it again. You
Yeah,
know, yeah.
that's
But
awesome.
also like goal setting helped out a lot. I'm like a big believer in goal setting now,
Mm.
and I finally like learned how to goal set during that time. Um,
How do you goal set?
it's a it's like a little bit of a process. Like I try to do it every Sunday now, and it's like a 12-step process that I learned from this guy Brian Tracy. Um, he's like an old sales guy. You should look him up. I love him, but he's really old now, and but he used to be like a public speaker, and he's like written a ton of books about like being productive and time management and goal setting, right? So I found like him, and I found like a YouTube video of him 12-step goal setting. You can check it out. It's free on YouTube, and it's like um, that's like what is in his course. And yeah, I learned from that video. It's like I can try to think of the steps. It's like 12 steps, but the biggest ones is like have a clear goal of what you want. Like first thing he has to do is like envision like your career or your personal life or finances, how you want them to be. Like if you had a magic wand and they can just appear, envision them. And yeah, and then he talks about like have like a list of tasks to do, have a list of the people you need help from and cooperation from, and have a list of uh deadlines and dates. That's an important one, right? Because if you
Yeah, to
don't,
give yourself a deadline, right?
yeah, lights a fire under your ass in a way.
Yeah.
That's important. That's probably the most important thing that I still trying to make myself do. But yeah, and then like prioritize that list. Like he says something about like the 80-20 rule where it's like 80% of the progress comes from 20% of the tasks,
Yeah.
right? You probably heard
Yeah.
that big
Yeah. It
productivity role.
it's also like a big business law as well, where like 20% of your customers is going to give you 80% of your profits or revenue. But
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he teaches all about that, and then like prioritizing, and then like just literally a giant to-do list of getting to your goal, and you
wow,
just start from the top, and then keep doing it. And you can switch, you can always iterate it and all that, and iterate the deadlines, right? But that's pretty much how it is. Just planning is the most important thing for me.
that's
That's what's helped out.
dude, that's so awesome. That's
Yeah.
so awesome because I'm always looking for better ways to improve my system. Because for me, like I love goals, I love goal setting, but most importantly, like if it's a goal that I want to keep on hitting, I like to make it like a habitual goal. So like I try to like break the goal down like smaller steps. See like so I can just take it like as like a little tiny pill every single day, and then find ways to make it more efficient, more faster, and still like resulting in the same result. But a 12-step process. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to watch that video because I love learning about that kind of stuff. With with product design and within the industry that you're in right now, um, is it important to have goals for the team and goals for everything? Or how would you guys like handle that or manage those KPIs you guys need to hit?
Yeah, so I try to bring in like that type of goal setting into like any project that I have, because it
Mm,
just helps. Because you're practically trying to hit a goal, right? When you're in a project, right? You're trying to hit the best possible outcome. So why not, have like a list of all the tasks and most important things, and have a deadline, which you kind of already do in product design and all that. So yeah, I kind of try to take most of that, um, the goal setting, with it, right?
wow, that's awesome. And so you're currently working at Microsoft. Did you work at a different company beforehand? Like, do you have prior experience to product design or
So I just want to make it clear, I'm not working at Microsoft. I'm just contract, right? So it's a
oh,
contract.
really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So right now I'm actually like a month out from my the end of it. So I'm trying to
Mm,
get that extension. My manager says that the intentions are they want to extend it, but they just got to find out if they got the budget, right? Which I'm
right.
pretty sure they need my help still, because they're looking for another designer like me to help some other stuff. So yeah.
Dude, I'll be
Uh,
praying that you get it.
yeah, thank you. Me too, man.
Of course, man.
I liked it. I like it. So yeah, I was just doing for the last year before I got this job. Um, I just been volunteering and doing contract work with like model and
Mm,
his stuff, and also yeah, just working for free and learning stuff, buying more courses and upping my skill set and knowledge.
that's awesome.
Right. Yeah. So
That is so cool. That is so cool, Isaac. Because when I first met you, I was like, all right, I don't know too much about this guy. Seems like he does like a lot of hard work. Because I seen your website, your personal portfolio, and it's really cool. I genuinely like enjoyed it reading it.
appreciate it.
But I was like, there's got to be more to this guy. So that's why I'm like really happy to have you on the interview because we're digging deeper into Isaac Cruz. Because I mean, I think it's just like stereotype now, but anybody that works in design or stuff like that, people think it's very um unstructured. Like there's not really a structure to creativity and to spontaneity, but with you and with a lot of designers that I've interviewed before, like there's always a process. And getting to that process is like the most important thing. So for you, and this is just like a question, you can be honest about it. Is the process more important than the product? Or is the product more important than the process? Like which one would you prioritize more?
I think the process is probably hmm, more important in product design, at least, because like that's what they teach us in boot camp. It's just like a process. Like And like in a portfolio, that's all they care about when they're interviewing you is like, okay, what's your process?
Mm,
They don't really care about the end result, because the end result isn't really going to be perfect all the time. But as long as you have
right.
like process, you can always improve it, right? And
Mm,
improve the process too to improve that product, right? And
that's
the process,
awesome.
yeah, the process just helps improve the product. So yeah, I think it's a process.
Heck yeah. That's cool. That's an awesome opinion. That's great.
Thanks.
Um, with like what's your favorite design you made? Like what's like your favorite thing you've ever designed?
Oh man, it's a good question. Probably my portfolio.
Oh
Um,
yes.
Hard on it, right? It was like my first go at like trying to create something real after boot camp. Like everything at a boot camp is like concept, right? And it's just nice looking things on a screen. But my portfolio is like has to be usable, and I was like actually using more of the stuff I was learning in boot camp to create my portfolio. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, and more people looked at it, and it was live and all that. So it was like my real first real product, right?
wow.
So that's it.
There's nothing like building like your portfolio page. Nothing like it. I remember before I built my portfolio page, I was like I was helping with like my friends to build them websites and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is fun. But then building my portfolio page was like, oh my God, it is so much fun, man.
Yeah, you put so much work into it too, and it's like your baby.
Yeah, it's literally your child. Oh man. Dude, what'd you build it with? Did you code it up or did you use like a CMS or what?
I use Squarespace.
Shout out Squarespace.
Yeah, shout out Squarespace. Yeah, and then I like some of the things I tried to customize. I just used YouTube to try to like customize like some buttons and all that. You
Mm,
probably go to it and figure out which buttons weren't able to be customized because I don't know anything about code. But that motivated me to learn more about code.
mm,
Learning how to like do a little bit of that, some HTML and CSS, because I was having a lot of trouble trying to do that.
yeah.
You know, I realized how much we need developers to like to make the thing that you designed,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Especially being able to communicate a design that's able to be developed efficiently. Because like you said, I like what you said whenever there's like, oh, like in boot camp, there's like tons of pretty concepts, a lot of pretty designs, but we have to make it usable. And a lot of people they'll go on like dribble.com or behance.net and they'll see like these crazy out of world 3D websites that have like the most craziest animation. They're not like you can't develop them. You can't.
I know.
And like they're not usable. Like they distract the user from the end goal, which is a CTA of some sort or a call to action. And so how do you kind of like how do you mitigate that from creating a very beautiful design, but also making sure that it's usable and efficient?
Um, I think I got lucky from my background. Like I'm not like into art, or I wasn't into design before. Um, I was a little creative. Like when I was a kid, I used to like to draw sometimes,
Mm,
but I can't like sit down long. I would never be able to sit down long enough to go and draw and be an artist, right?
okay.
I have like ADD, so I gotta like always have stuff to interact with.
Right, right.
So yeah, I think like just because I didn't come from a creative background like that, like I'm not just thinking about how things are looking. I'm thinking
Mm,
about like the business part. So I'm like, okay, is this usable? Thinking about the like this is a product, right? This isn't art. This is a product, right? But it looks good. We got to make it look good also,
right.
because that's important too. But that's not the goal of making it look good,
Mm.
right?
Dude, that's actually so cool that you said that because there's this book. I forget the author. I'll link it down though, but it's called The Unfair Advantage. I don't know if you read it, but it talks about how something that might be a disadvantage, such as like being in a creative industry but not having a creative background, like a lot of people see it as a disadvantage. but you're making it an unfair advantage because you're not so caught up with the perfectionism of the product. You're caught up with, let's make it practical. Yes, let's make it pretty, but like the product is the most important thing. Like, will it make money for the business? Will it generate new leads? And that's a big advantage that you have that not a lot of people have. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you
Yeah.
have a no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when I first started the boot camp, I was like, oh, they have a Slack channel of like all the people in the boot camp to connect with and network.
Right.
And I seen like a lot of people getting jobs, and they're like, oh, I'm 3 months into the boot camp and I got a job. I'm like, oh man, I got excited. But then I look at their background and they're like, learn more about them, and they're all like previous graphic designers, or they
Mm,
love art, right? Like their portfolio is full of like side projects of art. And that kind of like, I guess discouraged me a few times, right? Because I'm like, man, I don't come from any of this. Like, all I have is like that digital marketing experience and that sales experience.
yeah.
So I'm like, see how it goes. So now it's not really discouraging. I'm like, okay, this can kind of be a strength, like
Yeah.
using it as strength, right?
It's definitely a strength, man, because I come from I come from like a creative background. And so trying to learn code and like development was so abstract to me because it was more logical than it was like creative. And so having to create a product that generates stuff for the business, I'm like, well, if it's like pretty, like it'll bring in more customers, stuff. You think like that, right? Very, very naively, but to have that balance in the middle is something that's so important. And even I yearn to be similar to you in that case, because whenever we were working with Morrow and doing like the interviews and stuff like that, you were focused on that. Okay, the design that the interviewee made, did they prioritize the business product or did they prioritize their creative itch? And even with the MVP that you made for Bulky, um, it was geared towards the product. And I was like, wow, I have so much to learn from this guy. And that's why I wanted to go on the interviews with you, get to pick your brain more, and then also have this interview with you now, because I want to learn so much more about that advantage that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just really cool. And so like seriously, thank you for coming.
No,
Um, have you been able to use that like with your design teams? Like have you had that experience where everybody else is like, oh, like I'm artistic, and then I can't really, prioritize a business product as much or something like that. That was so
yeah.
terribly articulated, but you get what I'm saying.
No, you painted a clear picture for me. Thank you. Uh,
Mm.
no, yeah, I mean, like when I was volunteering, like in Hack for LA, I did notice some people, because I decided to be the design lead,
Mm.
and like I have no business having that title at the time, but
Okay.
they needed one, right? They needed someone to do like more PM stuff and take care of like the Kanban board and make sure everyone was doing projects within the big project, right? And moving it forward. So I took that position. Um, and I did notice when we were doing like design reviews, like some of them were like, oh yeah, I chose this color or I chose this design because I just liked how it looked. I think they look better than the last one. And then I had to be the person to be like, did you check the design system before making that? And did you like, oh, what was the other reasons why you chose this design, right? And
Mm.
a lot of their reasons were just that. Like, I was like, sorry, sorry, it looks nice, but unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be able to push that to development. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you not only you have experience with designing and creating a business focused product, but you also have experience with saying no.
Yeah. I guess constructive feedback, um, which that's what I learned in sales too, because I had
Mm.
to train new people to sell, right? And we had a system in place too on like how to give feedback to people without hurting their feelings and discouraging them. So I can teach you some things. These are kind of valuable if you're working with a team.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
it's like one of them is like the hamburger method you probably learned, but we called it build, break, build, where
Mm,
somebody did something wrong, right? First, you build them, you say, hey, good job doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then you break them, which is like, you don't really break them, right? You just say,
you sucked.
yeah, do better. No, next time you know, you just next time let's do this like us, not them. Like next time, let's do this. Maybe we can try this, you know, and then build them again. But yeah, that was a great job doing that. Do that again next time. But yeah, let's just improve. And then
That's awesome. I actually do use a hamburger thing, not only for like for teams and for business related stuff, but also like with my friends and family. Are there any other techniques that aside from the hamburger that you know or
yeah. So as the team, the design lead, I I was also in the position as everyone else that was trying to kind of manage. So it's like the blind training the blind. And I didn't want to do that. I was like, okay, I don't know much more about design than these people. Even though I'm the design lead,
mm,
I don't know more. So I'm like, I had to ask a lot of the question, like, I had to ask the team, what do you guys think? Like, if I had an opinion about something or thought someone's design wasn't um, geared towards our goals, I would always ask the team, what do you guys think? What are your guys' opinions? Like, you know, uh, I've heard that from some entrepreneur I follow. Like, it's always good if you're a CEO or a leader of a team, always ask the team, what do
mm,
you think? That's like the most important line. What do you think? Right?
yeah.
Because you get input from other people and, you know, you're thinking as a team rather than just, you know, since you're the boss, everyone has to listen to what you're saying, right? You know, nobody's opinions matter. And I've been in those positions too. So I'm like, I would like a leader like that would ask me what I think about their decisions or whatever or choices, right?
Wow. That's great. That's great. That's very considerate actually. Would you ever start a podcast?
I thought about it. Like
Yeah.
I had an idea that I recently found out that it was already taken. That but it's similar to like my door-to-door sales experience because
Mm,
I would go in like nice areas where there would be like mansions, biggest house, some of the biggest houses I've seen, and go and try to sell them internet. And I'm like, hey, it would be a good idea to like. Also, I got the idea from the guy that I think Daniel Mack. You watch him
yeah.
or whatever. Right? He talks to people and their Corvettes or nice cars and stuff. I would go to people's houses and do that, but kind of do a little podcast episode with them if they had some time, right?
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
What?
But I found this guy that on YouTube that's kind of already doing that, and it's pretty good content. Like, get some good information from those.
What is it?
I can't remember his name, um, but I've only watched a few clips
Mm,
of his. But if I find it, I'll send it your way.
yes, please. Yes, please. Oh man. No, juicy question. What? So, I mean, I know you're contracted by Microsoft, so you might be obligated to say Windows, but Mac or Windows?
Oh man, I'd say Mac right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. They're kind of in a tie right now because I don't know. In my opinion, Mac and hasn't the UX has been lagging like lately, right? Like I've been like I just started using a Mac when I started my boot camp, so 2 years, and
Mm,
before that I was using it like Windows, and they're both kind of like not the best experience, but I'd say Mac since I already know it and it still has a little bit of UX, a little better improvements than Windows.
mm,
Now that I'm working with Microsoft, I've noticed that their UX is better in a lot of ways too.
Oh, like
Um,
what? Like how? I really don't ever use Windows computers.
um, Mostly in like their design system, like um, just using some of their products, like their trying to think of it like Safari versus Chrome. Like Chrome, I know Chrome isn't Microsoft, but Safari isn't that great. But just like seeing some of their designs and using a lot more of their products, I just noticed that it's like, oh, it's just a better user experience. I can't tell you like specific things.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
remember, but
in that regard, I do understand because I love Safari for like the ease of use, I guess, but Google Chrome is way better. I
mm,
use it for development. I also use it for like regular school and for business stuff. So it's like, all right, I'll just use that. For Safari, I think I literally use it for entertainment, like Hulu, Netflix, that kind of thing. That's about it.
yeah, it's not that great. Like, yeah, it's just bad UX. A lot of it.
Yeah, it's not. Mm, it's not. Do you use like websites to find um I would say like inspiration or like references for designer?
Yeah, I have like a file in my browser, Safari browser, that just like has like good UI, like good websites to
Mm,
just get inspiration from, and then some of it is just like icon websites. And it's all just resources I go back to look for inspiration. So trying to think of which ones are on there. I know the one you mentioned, not Behance, the other
dribble?
Dribble's on there, and you can bookmark some good design on there.
Oh yeah.
There's Patterns. Um, that's a website that shows like some design patterns.
Oh, like UI patterns, is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Great
called
website.
Patterns, and it's not spelled correctly, and I can't tell you because I think it's PTTTRNS or something. Um, yeah, there's a few other ones, but I try to save now. I try to be in the habit of like saving. If I see good UI, saving it to my folder, right? Just to get inspiration and get a good design eye, I guess.
Oh yeah. No, that's a great way to do it. How do you like do you just put it in like the browser files, like in the browser folder, or do you have like a because like I use Notion where I just like put everything in a Notion file.
No, I just put everything into the browser, like
Mm,
bookmarks. Yeah,
yeah. No, I
yeah,
do I do the same thing as well. I do both really, but I do the bookmarks just to have it there because like I don't want to go through my Notion and find the website. I'm like, I can just have it bookmarked.
yeah. It's
Is
like an extra step.
yeah, the extra overhead is unnecessary, man. When it um when it comes to design, like are you still looking for like different mediums of design? Like because I know you're in product design. And would you be interested in going to like 3D design or AR design or
I was interested in doing like a voice interaction design. Because in the boot camp there's like the main course, and then last 2 months of it is like a specialization course that you can choose from like three different courses.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, so one of them was UI specialization, which I took. Another one was like a coding, and the third one was voice interaction. And I wanted to do the third one, the voice interaction one, because I'm like, oh, this is the future. Like I hear like Gary Vee talking about how voice is like the future. Like we're not
Yeah.
gonna phones anymore. Like that's a better interface, or it's a better UX than like having to type stuff with your fingers. Um, but I was advised to just do the UI specialization because
Mm,
more marketable, right? Especially if you're new to design, and it's just a better skill set to have at first.
right. Because like with voice interaction design, is that like what is that? Go more into that.
So little bit I know about it is just like uh how I don't want to say like how Google. because I don't want to turn it on because I
Oh, okay.
like Google Home has it and like Alexa
Mm,
and all that, Siri. So you'll be like working on the UX with those of how we interact with that and the commands and all that. And I don't know how it works, but it's interesting, and I know it's like it's gonna be a big thing in the
that's
future. It's
awesome.
already becoming a big thing, you know.
Have you seen the movie Her?
Ah man, I've heard of it. I don't know if I've seen it though.
You
What is
should
it
watch it. It's a very beautiful movie. It has Joaquin Phoenix, the actor
about?
that played the Joker.
Uh-huh.
Such a great movie. I thought it was gonna be weird because it's about, oh God, I hope I don't say it wrong, but it's basically about this guy who is in the middle of getting divorced, and he's been like single for like years now. And so then it's in the future, and they all use like AirPods. Like they don't, like they have phones, but like they all use AirPods. So like they're just talking, like send a message here, do a thing there, whatever, not book a flight, etc. But they also have like operating systems that are like super artificial intelligence. Like they can think for themselves, they have their own personalities, etc. He falls in love with his own operating system, and like they both fall in love with each other. And then like it sounds very weird on the surface, but it's actually a very beautiful movie.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of reminds me of what is it, Tron? Is that movie that's like where the holographic lady is like his girlfriend,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, he's just talking to her and she does stuff for him and just talking, right?
yeah, yeah. Like I think they ended up dating and stuff like that. Like in the because I didn't see the originals. I saw like the Tron from Disney one, but they seemed like they were a couple in my eyes. I thought they were a couple.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
a great movie, man. Do you watch movies? Like, are you a cinephile?
Yeah, man, I love movies. I try to watch like a movie every weekend.
Heck
Uh,
yeah.
but like I'm like one of those movie watchers where like if you try to like replay a scene, like you're trying to tell me about you're telling me about a scene in a movie that I've already watched. I'm like, I don't remember the scene, dude. I'm sorry. I can't joke around with you like that. Like
Oh
step
no,
stuff. I don't know how some of those people do it though. They'll just remember lines of movies, like great lines in movies and
I don't get that.
movies. Yeah, I don't do that either. But yeah, I love movies. How about yourself?
I like movies. I think movies are cool. I'm unfortunately with like I don't want to say COVID because I mean it's kind of past, but with COVID, like my interest in movies has like decreased. But I like them. I'm in the same boat as you are though. Like I can memorize scenes. Like I'm like, oh okay, like yeah, this is how it's played out. But like with lines, like people like reciting Lion King. I've seen that movie like 50 times, and I still don't even know like
Mhm.
80% of the lines. I
Yeah.
don't get that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would think that you would like be more interested in movies with COVID because like we're kind of like we were like stuck inside for a little while. So people are just watching movies and TV shows.
Yeah, like TV shows, heck yeah. TV shows I'm big in.
Which
Like
one? You
so TV shows for me are two lanes. So there's anime that I watch, and then there's regular TV that I watch. So for like regular TV, I'm watching the thing about Pam on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a true crime murder case that happened. Um Phenomenal. 6 episodes. It's insane. Beautiful cinematography. Um and then for anime, I think I'm about to get caught up on One Piece. It's a show that has like over 1,000 episodes. It's
Whoa.
awesome. Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it.
Okay. I don't watch much anime. But yeah, TV shows. There's so many TV shows out there, man. I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to choose one like I've done before and then like get really into it and then like it starts sucking like the
Mm,
last couple seasons when it's just like 7 seasons in.
it's like
Uh
getting rushed to end or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Like The one TV show I used to watch a lot is The Walking Dead, and I watched that a long time ago, and they're still making new episodes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that show needs to end already. Like, I mean, it was good, but there was a part of it where it's just like they, they're just trying to make more episodes and more scenarios that aren't that good anymore. Like,
Yeah, they're just milking it. It's the same way with Grey's Anatomy. My sister, she's huge fan of Grey's Anatomy. It's like 15, 16 seasons now. I'm like, hey man,
I mean,
pull the plug.
yeah, it's time. It's time. Come on, guys.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Do you did you watch like movies or shows about design or in that
Mm,
kind of area?
no, like I said, I wasn't really into design. Really, I was just into like more entrepreneurship.
Mm,
Like that's why as I was really into like product design, UX design, because I'm like, oh, we get to like learn about the business needs and how to make products that sell, right?
right.
That's like the bread and butter in a business. Like, you need a good product, right?
Mm.
Um, in sales
So
and marketing, I learned that it's like you have to be like, you can have a bad product and you can sell it, right? Uh, which I've seen a lot of people do. And I prefer having a great product and people, buying it without you having to really try to sell it, right?
right. Let the product sell itself kind of thing.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's awesome, right? Make good
Yeah.
money, and you help the world in some way.
Right. Do you see yourself in the future going into um entrepreneurship with product design or some level of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I dream of it, like, I fantasize about being like having like a nice product or company in the future, because like I'm big into like, I don't know, having like the freedom in life, like have enough money to live a wealthy life, not to
Right.
be rich. Like, I don't need a yacht and stuff like that and all that. Be rich, like Wolf of Wall Street type stuff. I just, like having stuff in place to like be wealthy and not have to work like 9 to 5, stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, I would love to own a company or something like that to just help me have that freedom, you know?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think product design is a start of it, like learning how to build products and services that people want to buy. I think that's like a good start. And marketing background, sales, I think that helps out too. So I'm like, I think I'm on a good path right now to get to
Heck
that
yeah.
goal, hopefully.
Yeah, man. I believe it. I 100% believe it. I'm a big believer in if there's anything that you yearn for, whatever you believe in or universe or whatever not, it's gonna help you get there. Um, and I mean, of course, like you have to put in the work, you got to put in the steps to get there. But it's awesome. That's actually really cool that you say you don't even want to be rich. You just want to be financially free and stuff like that. Because ever since the pandemic happened, social media has been like crazy about hustle culture, hustle culture, hustle culture. Has that affected you in any way or
Yeah, that's actually, I believe in that hustle culture. When I was doing the boot camp and
mm,
a FedEx delivery driver, I think that's why I got burnt out a lot. And you know, um, but I didn't regret it. I don't regret doing that, like, because it got me to be a product designer faster. and
right?
and yeah, but I think like, there's a time to do that, to just hustle and hustle hustle, and there's a time to just relax and enjoy your life a little bit
Yeah.
more, right? Because I've learned, like, after that, like, enjoy the journey, right? Because um even now that I got my goals I was working so hard towards, uh I don't feel much more different than when I did during the journey.
Mm,
Like I don't feel like, um I don't know. My point is just enjoy the journey. Like I wish like I took my time a little more and enjoyed it a little more. Because it was like 2 years kind of like went flying by, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here now, which is awesome. And I got like I'm a product designer finally and got the goal. But yeah, now I know it's not all about the goal, the destination. It's like, you probably hear this like on Instagram. It's about the journey, right?
Yeah.
Uh yeah, but feel good. Now I gotta think about a new goal to hit and enjoy the journey more, like enjoy myself and learn more, right? And not hustle so hard, right? Because I don't need to
Right.
do it anymore, right?
Yeah. You mentioned Gary Vee, and he actually talks about this. He said, I don't have any regrets, but I do wish that when I was younger, I would have spent more time with my friends, would have spent more time with my family, because I was just hustling, 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 hustling. And of course, it got me here, but the difference would have been like 2% of a difference. Like I still would have been here, but now I'm here and my circle's a lot smaller. And the time that I spent when I was younger was spent on a business instead of enjoying life. And like our biggest thing at our studio is like we like to help people to make the process as simple as possible. So like they're able to enjoy the process of it, but they're also able to like enjoy their life and everything like that. Cause like for us, like we enjoy the whole process. We enjoy creating the product. We enjoy strategy calls, discovery calls. We enjoy the whole process. And to get to the product, once you get there, it's like, okay, like what else? And that's something like we kept running into. We're like, oh man, like this is like whenever we were younger though. And we are like 14. We were like noticing, oh man, like we got the product, like we got what we're looking for, but like we don't feel like as accomplished. Like it lasted for 3 seconds. But the thing that always stood out for us was, oh man, you remember like whenever we stayed up to like 3 a.m, like editing that video. You remember whenever we got like 50 different phone calls from this one person like crying because they were like super happy about what we gave them. Like the journey is so much more important than what you're chasing, than what goal you're trying to hit. So
Uh,
like it's very beautiful that you're able that Siri, I'm not talking to you, dog. It literally just turned on. Siri, I guess Siri want to be part of the conversation, Isaac, but um yeah, man. Path path over product always.
yeah. Trust the process and enjoy the journey, I guess.
Always,
Uh,
man.
yeah. But some people have different priorities, right? Like Gary Vee, he's probably like that guy that like I find that a lot of people that are rich and just go after the money a lot, like they enjoy doing that, like hustling.
Yeah.
That's like their hobby, and they don't know anything else but then just like hustle, and then some hobbies and all that. But yeah, you gotta enjoy it, which like that's important too. Um, like go find something to make money, which now you can actually make money a lot of ways, even doing things that you're passionate in, like
Yeah.
art.
Or like
Like
video games. Oh my god,
yeah, you
it's
can never make
crazy.
money out there. Yeah, the internet is so like there's so much opportunity now that a lot of people don't. Looks like I froze. If you can still hear me.
I can
Okay.
hear.
um, there's so much more opportunity that the internet brings, and there's you just learn it. You
Yeah.
can open the internet, search something in, and just start learning, and that's how you get into any industry now.
Yeah.
Time.
Oh man. Like because like I'm a developer and people my age are like, dude, like that is so unreachable. Like, did you go to college for that? Like, no, like I didn't go to college for it. Like, no, they're like, bro, like you have your own business. Did you go to college for that? I'm like, yeah, like I did. Like I got an associate's in business, but like, it's like they really don't teach you how to make a business. But like people think like these things are so out of reach, and it's just about just Googling. Like just Google it. Like I Googled how to start a business in Florida. I Googled how to start coding. You Googled a personality test so that you can see like what careers you fit in, and you just went for it. Like a lot of it is literally just like throwing stuff in the dark and seeing what sticks. and then just chasing after it. Like I don't know. Like for me, like my capacity is like I will only ever know like what I'm capable of if I'm either in a very uncomfortable situation because I'm able to know like my limits, but also like a lot of us we're only understanding of our limits within our comfort zone. So like to think like, oh, I can go and become a product designer and get scouted by Microsoft and get contracted by them. Like for a lot of people, they're like, oh, that's impossible. It's like, no, like you gotta get uncomfortable, you gotta get dirty.
Yeah, you gotta like want it first. Like I feel like a lot of this, I'm no better. We're no better than anybody else. Like
No.
anybody can do. Like if we wanted to, we can probably be just as successful as like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. But it's just like, what is your priorities? Like what is
Yeah.
important to you, right? Because I think that's the first thing that like is that inspiration. Like, okay, what do you want out of your life? Then go and do the actions to get it, right?
Yeah.
Some people they don't care about making a better career or or improving or whatever. They just some people have other priorities, like and it's I don't think it's a bad thing on them. They're
Mm-mm.
happy, as long as you're happy. Everyone gets happiness from different things. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, I mean, but if you want to be more successful or get something, like it's possible. Like you just gotta want it more, right?
Oh yeah. You gotta beat the competition, man. You gotta beat them. But I have one question, and this actually has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. But are you Hispanic?
Yeah, yeah. My dad's from Mexico City. My mom's from here, but she's not like American. Like she's Mexican American.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm Hispanic.
That's awesome. So do you speak Spanish or do you understand it?
I understand a little bit of it.
Mm.
I was raised more by my mom. Um,
Oh.
and my mom's side of the family were like very mixed. So my older brother is actually half black, so he's black and Mexican, and like my close cousin is white and got some Indians in the family, and it's just like we just stick to English, you know.
That's awesome. You got a nice fun mix, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. I want to learn more about more Spanish. Do you know Spanish?
I do know Spanish.
Right.
It was originally my first language. I forgot it and then I relearned it at 12 years old. So I was like, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like we moved from Venezuela to Florida to Miami. And I didn't know English or Spanish. Like I was just speaking in sounds. I was like 2.5 years old.
Wow.
And then I started learning English when I was like 6 years old. I was able to understand what my family was saying in Spanish, but I hated it. I was like, Spanish is so much more complicated. I don't want to learn it. Like I was 8 years old, literally telling my dad, I was like, I don't want to learn Spanish. It's a gross language. And then I turned like 10, 11. I'm seeing like my family's able to communicate in such a more like beautiful way. So by the age of 12, I was like, all right, I'm gonna learn Spanish. So I would say I have like an accent in Spanish, but I'm still able to communicate.
Right
So
on. Good for you. Yeah.
heck yeah.
I
I
wish I
recommend I recommend Duolingo.
Duolingo, yeah.
Seriously.
I know about them. Um, yeah, I need to learn more because I'm actually planning on traveling to Mexico like in June. Um, so we'll see.
Yeah, man.
Shit
If
up.
you, if you don't even want to like, because like Duolingo will take you from the very beginning to the very end of Spanish, but like if you really just want to know how to say a lot of common phrases that you have in English, literally just like look up the Spanish translation of it and just like memorize those, figure them out, conjugate them in different ways. It's because like you really don't need to know like 80%. It's like the 80-20 rule. Like 20% of the language will help you communicate with 80% of the population, which is facts.
Mhm.
Because like there's a lot of Spanish that is because we speak in metaphors a lot of time. It's like really annoying, at least in Venezuela. So like I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but I kind of get what you're saying. But like I'm not gonna care. But like the rest. What's up?
Sorry, I'm confused. Like, well, speaking of metaphors, like how
Yeah.
I'm gonna hear an
So
example. Yeah,
I don't know if any of these are like appropriate metaphors,
man.
but like for example, like they'll say like if the situation's like really bad in Venezuela, we'll say que huevo tan azul, which means like what egg, like what a blue egg, because it's like yeah, what a blue egg. It's like something that just like shouldn't be happening, something that's like out of this world, but
Okay.
it's also like there's also like something else that makes it bad, but there's like that, and there's also like oh, mine's blank, but that's like one of the metaphors that we speak in. Like we speak in a lot of metaphors in Venezuela.
That's
So
interesting.
like, yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, context clues, but like you really just have to know the things that you want to say from English to Spanish. That's literally it, because that's what I do. I translate everything from English to Spanish.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause a lot of stuff is just like backwards sentences sometimes in Spanish.
yeah,
Um,
and sometimes it's literally like the word edificio is edifice in English, and they both mean building.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So
like
literally
yeah,
translate
man.
Spanish sounding word.
Yeah, there's a lot of because English is a Latin language and so is Spanish, but English takes a lot of inspiration from Spanish a lot. So it's like, all right, cool. Why not?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I'm currently learning Portuguese, and Portuguese is very similar to Spanish because it's a Latin language, but I'm just learning like the bare basics of what I say in Spanish and English to just have a conversation in Portuguese.
Hmm. That's just interesting. Were you planning on traveling to Brazil or something?
No, no, there's just a lot of beautiful Brazilians in the Tampa Bay area, you know? So
Okay, all right. Yeah, I forget you're in Tampa. That's cool. What's the
yeah,
weather like over there right now?
terrible. It's like humid, it's hot. It's really not that great, but I love it. We love it for right now. How's Denver?
Denver's beautiful right now, man. Yeah, it's like yesterday we went hiking, girlfriend and I, it was like 70 degrees, cloudy, nice little breeze, beautiful weather. Shorts, t-shirt weather.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Today's the same. I think all weekend. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Alrighty. I think this will be a good spot to end it here.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Thank you so much for coming on, Isaac. Seriously, a huge pleasure, my man.
No, no, thank you for having me. Like this is my first podcast and very interesting. Like yeah, it was cool. Yeah, yeah. Good luck with the new podcast. Well, hope this episode gets the most views. Like and subscribe,
Yes. Like and subscribe, leave a rating.
smash that
And
like button.
if you want to see Isaac's stuff, everything's gonna be linked in the description below. Alrighty. Thank you, my
Cool.
man.